Listen, I need to tell you something urgent before December 23rd changes everything for DJI users in America. I've got leaked images of the DJI Pocket 4 sitting right here on my desk, exclusive insider information about the ban that nobody's talking about. And I just spent 2 weeks testing a camera that DJI doesn't want you to know exists. But here's the crazy part. One of these cameras might already be illegal to sell by the time you finish watching this video, while another one just cleared the biggest regulatory hurdle in its history. The clock is literally ticking. So if you're thinking about buying any gimbal camera in the next 60 days, you cannot afford to skip what I'm about to show you. Stick around until the end because I'm revealing which camera I'm personally buying with my own money. And trust me, the answer might surprise you. Let's dive in. The ban situation explained. Okay, so the elephant in the room, what's actually happening with this DJI ban? Because honestly, the internet is filled with panic, misinformation, and people losing their minds thinking their drones are going to stop working overnight. Let me set the record straight with information directly from DJI's head of global policy, Adam Welsh, who sat down for an exclusive interview that most people haven't seen yet. Here's the reality. December 23rd, 2025 is the critical date when the FCC could potentially add DJI to something called the covered list, which would block new DJI products from receiving regulatory approval. Now, as of December 17th, DJI still hasn't received any response from the NSA, FBI, or Department of Homeland Security regarding their official security audit request. That silence is concerning because it increases the likelihood of restrictions. But here's what you actually need to know. In the absolute best-case scenario, this ban won't be retroactive at all. That means products already certified, like your current Pocket 3, your Mini 4 Pro, your Mavic, all of those would remain completely legal to sell, buy, and use. New products might face approval challenges, but existing inventory stays on the market. You keep flying, keep creating, keep doing exactly what you're doing right now. Worst-case scenario, even if we get a full retroactive sales ban, which is the nuclear option everyone's freaking out about, here's the key detail. It only affects future sales. If you already own a DJI product, or if you buy one before December 23rd, that device continues working exactly as it does today. Your gimbal doesn't suddenly stop stabilizing. Your drone doesn't fall out of the sky. You don't lose access to the app. The device you own remains yours, fully functional and completely legal to operate. The ban targets the marketplace, not your personal equipment. That's a crucial distinction that's getting lost in all the panic posting on Reddit and Facebook groups. Pocket 4 Certification Breakthrough. Now here's where things get really interesting, and why the timing of this video matters so much. While everyone's been doom-scrolling about potential bans, the DJI Osmo Pocket 4 quietly achieved something massive. It already has FCC certification. Let me say that again. It's already approved. That means DJI submitted this product for regulatory review, it passed all the required testing, and it got the green light before any of this ban drama reached its peak. This is huge for two reasons. First, it means the Pocket 4 has cleared the exact regulatory hurdle that might block future DJI products after December 23rd. Second, it signals that DJI knew this was coming and moved aggressively to get their flagship product certified before the deadline. Smart play by DJI, and great news for creators who've been waiting for this release. But wait, there's more. And this is where the leaked information gets exciting. According to multiple industry sources, including the reliable insider account photos, DJI isn't just launching one Pocket model. They're preparing two versions, the standard Osmo Pocket 4 and a higher-end Osmo Pocket 4 Pro. The Pro model is where things get spicy, because we're hearing credible rumors about a dual camera setup. Imagine having two lenses at your disposal, potentially a standard wide angle for vlogging combined with a telephoto or ultra-wide option for different creative scenarios. This would be an absolute game changer for solo creators who currently have to swap cameras or sacrifice shot variety. Think about run-and-gun documentary work, travel content, or even wedding videography where you need multiple angles without multiple camera operators. Timeline-wise, the standard Pocket 4 is still tracking for a January 2025 launch, which is literally weeks away. Production appears to be on schedule, inventory is being built, and barring any last-minute disasters, we should see an official announcement very soon. The Pocket 4 Pro, however, has been delayed from its rumored April release. A well-known creator in the DJI community confirmed the Pro model hasn't been canceled. It's still in active development, but we're now expecting it later in the year, possibly summer or early fall. DJI's probably refining that dual camera system and making sure it's absolutely perfect before launch. the unexpected competitor. All right, now let me introduce you to something that absolutely blindsided me when I first heard about it, and I think it's going to blow your mind too. There's a US-based startup that just released a pocket gimbal camera called Extra Muse, and when I tell you this thing is basically a clone of the DJI Pocket 3, I mean it's almost pixel for pixel identical. At first, I thought this was vaporware or some cheap knockoff that would fall apart in a week. Then, I actually got my hands on one, and honestly, I had to do a double take. Let's talk specs first, because this is where it gets wild. Extra Muse has the exact same 1-inch sensor that made the Pocket 3 so popular among serious creators. That's not a smaller sensor trying to fake it. It's the genuine large-format sensor that delivers that beautiful background blur and exceptional low-light performance. It shoots 4K video at up to 120 frames per second, matching the Pocket 3's flagship recording mode. The gimbal is 3-axis mechanical stabilization, identical form factor, same flipping touchscreen design. Even the physical button layout feels like DJI's hardware team moonlighted on this project. Now, here's why this camera exists and why you should care. DJI Pocket 3 availability in the United States has absolutely collapsed. Between regulatory uncertainty, supply chain issues, and retailers pulling back on DJI inventory, you're looking at severely limited stock and prices that have skyrocketed to around $800 for the combo package. That's more than 50% higher than the original $520 launch price. It's price gouging driven by scarcity, and it's made the Pocket 3 unaffordable for many creators who were planning to buy one. Extra Muse saw this opportunity and positioned themselves as the domestic alternative. Because they're US-based, they avoid the import and regulatory complications that DJI faces. Their pricing is significantly lower. We're talking hundreds of dollars less than current Pocket 3 street prices, making it accessible to creators who were priced out of the DJI ecosystem. Physically, these cameras are doppelgangers. I mean, put them side by side and most people wouldn't be able to tell them apart. The Extra Muse has a slightly more silvery metallic finish, which actually looks pretty premium, and they're backing it with a 2-year warranty compared to DJI's standard 1-year coverage. That extended warranty is legitimately valuable for professional use. The only notable hardware limitation is that Extra Muse doesn't support DJI's proprietary wireless microphones, so if you've invested in that ecosystem, you'll need to use third-party audio solutions or the built-in mics. Software is where you'd expect to see major differences, but honestly, they're minimal. The on-screen interface has slightly different fonts and color schemes. Think of it like Android versus iOS, where the core functionality is the same, but the visual language is tweaked. The mobile app has a different layout and branding, but all the essential features are there. Manual controls, AI tracking, editing tools, and social media export options. It's different enough to avoid direct copying, but familiar enough that any Pocket 3 user would feel at home immediately. Image quality showdown. Let's get to what actually matters. Image quality. Because you can clone the specs all day long, but if the footage doesn't hold up, none of this matters. I shot identical scenes with both cameras. Same location, same lighting, same gimbal movements, same settings. Then I brought the footage into my editing timeline and compared them frame by frame. The results genuinely shocked me. In bright daylight conditions, the 4K footage from both cameras is virtually indistinguishable. Same color science, same dynamic range, same sharpness and detail retention. That 1-inch sensor is doing the heavy lifting here, and both cameras are processing the data competently. When I showed the comparison clips to my cinematographer friend without labels, he couldn't consistently identify which was which. That tells you everything about real-world image quality parity. Low-light testing is where premium cameras separate from pretenders, so I shot in dimly lit indoor environments and during blue hour outdoors. Again, the performance was shockingly close. Both cameras maintained clean images up to ISO 3200, with similar noise characteristics and color accuracy. Neither camera crushed shadows or blew out highlights aggressively. The noise pattern was slightly different. Extra Muse showed marginally more chroma noise in deep shadows. But we're talking about differences you'd only notice if you're actively looking for them at 100% magnification. Active Track, which is DJI's AI-powered subject tracking feature that keeps you in frame automatically, performs nearly identically on both devices. Lock-on speed is quick. Tracking through obstacles works reliably, and reacquisition after losing the subject happens at similar speeds. For vloggers who shoot solo content while moving, this feature is absolutely critical, and I'm impressed that Extra Muse nailed this aspect of the experience. Audio quality from the built-in microphones is another area where I expected Extra Muse to cut corners, but the results were genuinely comparable. Voice clarity, wind noise reduction, and overall recording fidelity tested similarly in side-by-side comparisons. Neither camera will replace a dedicated shotgun mic for professional work, but for quick social content or backup audio, both are totally usable. Now, let's talk about the limitations that both cameras share, because it's only fair to address these. These are not rugged action cameras. They're precision gimbal instruments with exposed mechanics. Drop one on concrete, and you're probably looking at an expensive repair or replacement. The lenses are fixed and non-replaceable, so any damage means sending the whole unit in for service. Batteries are integrated and non-swappable, which limits your shooting time unless you have a power bank handy. And there's definitely a learning curve to gimbal control. Smooth movements take practice, and beginners often end up with wobbly footage until they develop the muscle memory. But honestly, for vlogging, travel content, and solo creation, these compromises are totally worth it for the image quality and stabilization you get in such a compact package. Final verdict. All right, decision time. You've watched this far, which means you're seriously considering buying one of these cameras, and you need a clear recommendation based on your specific situation. Let me break this down by scenario so you can make the smartest choice with your hard-earned money. If you're based in the United States and you need a pocket gimbal camera right now, like this week or this month, Extra Muse is genuinely the move. You're getting Pocket 3-level performance at a significantly lower price point. You're supporting a domestic company that won't face import restrictions, you get better warranty coverage, and you avoid the insane markup on limited DJI inventory. There's no compromise in real-world image quality, and you can start creating immediately instead of waiting for stock or gambling on regulatory outcomes. Now, if you can afford to wait and you want absolutely cutting-edge features, holding out for the Pocket 4 in January is the power move. FCC certification is done, the release is imminent, and you'll be getting the latest sensor technology, improved processing, and potentially some software features that neither current camera offers. Plus, you'll have the newest device on the market, which matters for future-proofing your investment. Just know that January units might be limited, and if you wait too long, you could be stuck waiting for restocks. If this video helped you make a more informed decision, smash that like button so YouTube knows to recommend this to other creators facing the same choice. And if you want more no-nonsense camera reviews, industry news, and real-world testing without the hype and corporate talking points, subscribe and hit the notification bell. I've got exclusive Pocket 4 footage coming the moment it launches, and you're not going to want to miss that. The clock's ticking on December 23rd, friends. Make your choice, get your gear, and let's keep creating no matter what regulatory curveballs get thrown our way. I'll see you in the next one.